How's it going, traders? Welcome to Smart Trade Stock Talk on August 29th. And what a day we had today again. And what do you know? The markets continue to push higher. We're looking at SPY, or the S&P 500, on the intraday chart. And you guys can see how we have generally just steadily gone higher and higher and higher up towards the Labor Day weekend. And right now, we really don't see any trouble for the markets in the near future. And you guys can see yesterday, and actually a couple of days ago, I drew in a higher high line, and that's situated between 291 to 292. That's just something to be mindful of. Note that, we're nearing the resistance, and we're nearing this area, right, where we could possibly do what? Go sideways. We could go lower, but it looks like it's unlikely for the markets to push lower. Now, if we continue on higher, that would be rather more bullish than even before. If you guys can imagine, if we break this higher high line and close on a daily basis above this level, we would expect significantly higher prices to come. But right now, we are kind of overextended. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a couple of days of resting until Labor Day weekend, because this market is really, really bullish right now. And I still hear chatter about potential leg downs. There is a potential in which we're going to come. Of course, there's going to be a potential. I think at some point the market will come down. But do we have any? We have to have some sort of signal for it to come down. Otherwise, it wouldn't make much sense if we're saying, we're making an all-time high and then we're going to come down, tomorrow. Or that, that's just not, in my opinion, it's just not too reasonable to expect that when markets are making all-time highs. All right, let's take a look at volatility right now. So here's TVIX, or volatility, and yet this paints the same picture as we talked about yesterday. What did we talk about yesterday in terms of volatility? Well, we said that volatility was pretty much even across the board. And you guys can see that volatility was even or positive yesterday, and today it was pretty much even as well. And what does that say? Well, that is telling a slightly more different story, because the markets pushed higher once again, made an all-time high, but volatility stayed put. That is telling us that people are expecting some sort of downturn in the near future, and they're gathering up some of volatility shares just in case, the market does fall, right? Even if it's for $1 or $2, whatever this, bump will be, they're gathering in shares. But right now, we don't have that sign of reversal just yet, so we have to be more bullish in the markets. All right, let's take a look at commodities. Start with 4/CL. Yesterday, we talked about crude oil, which is 4/CL futures, having a resistance at $69. I talked to you guys about what? Well, I told you guys that, this, even though we got rejected around the resistance area, right, we were actually, consolidating sideways to do what? When we're consolidating at a resistance area, it is usually that next push higher. Look at crude oil today. We pushed over the resistance. Where is the next resistance? It is at $70. We didn't get to $70. It is likely that we will hit $70, and then we'll see. But right now, crude oil has obviously reversed. We talked about the reversal over here, right? When we closed over the bearish pattern. So crude oil looking bullish. In my opinion, look for higher prices to come in crude oil. Note, I do have a resistance at 76.49. The big question mark here is, are we going to hit that resistance? And in order to hit that resistance, we have to go over the previous yearly high. So that is just something to keep in mind in the long term, but in the near term, crude oil is looking good. UWT has to be the ticker of interest. Here's UWT. You guys can see that we broke over the resistance. Now we're at the next resistance, which isn't that much of a resistance in my opinion. I think once we especially close over this leg, there's potentially significantly higher prices to come in crude oil. So a very interesting tale that is being played out pretty much as we expected for crude oil. Now, let's take a look at natural gas, 4/NG, and you know, this was the thing about /NG, in which I presented the scenario yesterday in which if you went into DGAZ, or inverse natural gas, right, as natural gas falls, inverse natural gas would increase. That if you went in during that area, what would happen, theoretically speaking, if natural gas suddenly went higher? I gave you guys that scenario because remember, we don't necessarily have to have this horizontal pattern play out, and we certainly don't have to have red candles every single day all the way to the bottom. Remember, look at these green candles. These are speed bumps, right? Along the way, that might occur. Therefore, I told you guys that, in my opinion, the best time to enter an inverse natural gas position has to be near the resistance of natural gas, and that would be around 2.988. And now, you guys can see natural gas did form a near-term reversal. So that is interesting. You guys can see that we came down, but we managed to close higher, right? Natural gas has a short-term reversal signal, and therefore, you know, am I going to invest in UGAZ or natural gas? Probably not, but you guys can see how we rebounded. At the very least, we could certainly come back and retest the resistance area situated at 63.76. So keep that in mind as you move forward. /GC and gold futures. Now, and you know, I'm going to refer to previous, you know, actually before we talk about gold, once again, please hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed this video. If you did not enjoy it, I hope you enjoy it in the future, as always, as I do this for you guys. For educational purposes, but also for you guys, you know, to enjoy. If you guys are investing in the stock market, perhaps, you know, you're after dinner or before dinner, you guys are watching these videos, you know, just enjoy these videos and hopefully learn something from it. In the meantime, course is coming out very, very soon, so I will talk about it in the Stock Talk as well as our Facebook group once we get to it. All right, /GC gold futures. Remember in yesterday's video what we talked about gold? We said that gold, it was on a 50-50 trajectory. It could go higher, it could go lower. And guys, what happened today? As a matter of fact, you guys can see my speculation, you know, kind of panning out today. We had JNUG slightly positive today, then dipped into the negative. I'll just show you guys JNUG, which follows /GC right here. Can you guys see that? Right, pretty much a flat day, uncertain day in my opinion, and today doesn't really tell a story of which trend we're going to go. So is my analysis going to differ from yesterday's analysis? And the answer is no, right? Because we were relatively flat today as we expected. The market, you know, the gold market hasn't picked a direction, therefore why do we have to guess a 50-50 direction? You know, that's certainly not our obligation. You know, so we just want to be picking the right trend. We don't have to force the trend, certainly. So you guys can see this, you know, really doesn't tell much of a story as we're fluctuating at a resistance or support area. Okay, let's take a look at your tickers once again, and we'll start off today with Aristoof. Can you please take a look at Facebook? Consolidations over soon? Question mark. So Facebook right now does look, in my opinion, pretty solid, and Facebook certainly has the potential to go on higher. Do we have the volume for that right now? And the answer has to be no. And the one thing I kind of hear still a little bit is a lot of people are still waiting. And there's this chatter about Facebook recovering significantly. And when I hear a lot of bullishness for Facebook, chances are this isn't the right time, in my opinion, to go, or at least it isn't the right time for Facebook to go higher. So I do like Facebook. I do like this chart, but it might not be the right time. So, you know, that's just something for you to consider as you move on forward. But certainly, I boxed in this area. I don't think it's very likely that we'll hit this boxed area anymore. So I'm actually going to move this boxed area towards somewhere around here. I think anytime around this area, if you could get in, you know, that's probably a good entry area for Facebook. And that's just my opinion. You know, you don't have to take that, of course. Rizwan, EA, Electronic Arts. So Rizwan, once again, thank you for your submission, and you point out some very interesting trends and such that we're consolidating sideways, and there could be that leg higher. Now, the question is, do we see that leg higher right now? And the answer is no. However, if you wish to invest in this, if you have the patience to wait it out, this certainly could have the, you know, the magnitude to play out to the upside. It's just we don't see that upside right now. If you want to get in, that's perfectly fine. You just have to, here's the near-term support. I can mark the near-term support at 126.50. That's the near-term support. If you guys got it at that point, just be a little patient. But yeah, this is a good trend, uptrend, higher highs plus higher lows. All right, Kim. Yeah, so let's take a look at ABMD, analysis of this one. ABMD is okay, so looks like it's moving on higher. Very good. And as a matter of fact, if you were on this move up to the upside, great job, because there's actually more potential for this one, in my opinion, to move higher. So we're looking at a near-term resistance at around, let's call it around 417, around this area. 416, 417. So there's still $14 left to go. So I think there's potential to get up there. And right now, we are looking good. This is a good trend, and this has been an uptrend after quite a move upon earnings, and now we finally sort of recovered back to the upside. So I like this one. Good call out, Kim. Yeah. Yarvin. Okay, so can I take a look at USLV? So USLV follows silver, and the problem with silver is you guys can see on the yearly chart how where's the sign of the reversal, right? I know silver has a lot of potential for it to move higher, right? A lot of potential, but there is no sign of reversal. As a matter of fact, I can say that this is getting ready for that next leg down. And, that next leg down will pull us even lower than 629. So I want to take a look at the 3-year chart. Right, you guys can see this is declining, no sign of reversal right now, and therefore something that we really can't visit at the moment. All right, Yarvin, thank you for your ticker. Nathan, INTC, Intel. Okay, so Intel right now, as you guys can imagine, has been bombarded by the new chips made by NVIDIA and the AMD stance right now, right? How AMD has moved incredibly over the $20 mark without much effort. Now, of course, AMD's, kind of moving sideways as we expected, or even a little lower. But right now, here's Intel, right? You guys can see that this is pretty much suffering at a little bit at the demise of, some other. So here we go. Lower high plus lower lows. Right now, near-term support. Where is our near-term support? It is, in fact, at 46.21. The near-term support is at 46.21. But the question is, and the golden question is, are we going to find a reversal area just yet? And in my opinion, it's not happening just yet. This can still get rejected at the 50-period moving average. Here's the 50-period moving average at around 49.28. And that's actually really close by. So you guys can imagine, one question you could ask yourself is, why did the markets push higher, but Intel was only able to push up 0.37%? That is a question mark for you to ask yourself. But right now, in my opinion, not the time. So Nathan, it looks like you talked about Twitter. So be sure to call out Twitter in today's video if you want me to take a look at it in tomorrow's video, because one ticker per person just to move things along. Thank you very much. All right, CRON. Jason. All right, so CRON, this is, you guys can see this one has moved rather quickly from the downside to the upside, and now you guys can imagine if you went in yesterday and you took a gut shot, gut chance, gut feeling, whatever it is, it went up 14-15% today. So this one is on an uptrend as we have legalization of marijuana across the states, So this is moving higher, yes. And, this is a good trajectory. However, it is very volatile. And this is a question that you have to ask yourself, whether your risk tolerance is, there, In my opinion, for example, yesterday, what happened? We went down significantly at one point, like over 10%, and today we recovered all that and more. So the question is, are you willing to hold, if you got in, for that 10% down, for potential another 15-20% higher? That's a question for you to ask yourself, but right now, this is on an uptrend, so there you go. Chris, ALGN. ALGN, align. Okay, ALGN. So here we go. The one thing you guys can see that is really clear is a signal in which we're nearing the peak area. And this is one where while I like this trend, can you guys see in past previous patterns, we consolidated for quite a while, and here we can certainly consolidate for quite a while before that next push higher. We're nearing the peak area, so I want to question you guys. If you guys want to get in, I'm going to draw this box once again. Here's the chance you would get higher. Here's the candles that are lower. Where is the probable area of movement? And the area would be to the downside. You know, we don't have to, you know, and that's just we don't have to take that trade right now. So, all right, Chris, thank you for your call out. And K9, yeah, thank you for your comment. And then let's see, AMD, Andre, AMD. So AMD, we saw, okay, so AMD, remember what we talked about for AMD, right? When we saw this tail candle, what did we say? We said that that was a short-term reversal. Long-term, bullish, short-term reversal. What happened yesterday? Short-term down, got a red candle. Today we managed to have a green candle again. So that's just something interesting. What exactly are we doing? We're actually consolidating at yet another resistance area before that another push higher. This looks, you know, ready to move higher once we consolidate a little while. So AMD still looking stellar, as always. As always, yeah. So we called out AMD in our monthly stock talk, right? All right. And I believe that is it for this video. So once again, I hope you guys enjoy these videos as much as I enjoyed doing them for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you're enjoying your evening or your morning or your afternoon whenever you're watching this video. And I will see you guys, of course, tomorrow, Thursday, to round up the week. And then we'll talk about possible future trends tomorrow as we move on forward to the Labor Day weekend. So, all right, guys, enjoy the week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.